Mia had just moved into a new apartment, a small but cozy place in an old building downtown. The rent was surprisingly cheap, but she didn't question it. She was desperate for a place to live, and this seemed perfect. Everything was normal at first, except for one strange detail: the door at the end of the hallway. It had no number, no peephole, just a single keyhole beneath the knob. The landlord told her it was just a storage room and that it was always locked. Mia didn't think much of it until the noises started. The first night, she heard faint scratching coming from the other side of the door. She figured it was just mice or the old pipes settling. The second night, the scratching was louder. Then she heard breathing, slow, deliberate, raspy breaths just on the other side of the door. Her stomach twisted. Maybe someone was inside, a homeless person who had snuck in. She pressed her ear against the door, her heart hammering. Then a whisper. "I see you." Mia jerked back, nearly falling over. Her breath came fast and shallow. She called the landlord first thing in the morning. "There's someone in that storage room," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. The landlord sighed. "Listen, just don't mess with that door. Some things are better left alone." She demanded to know what he meant, but he wouldn't say another word. That night, she couldn't sleep. The breathing returned, slow and heavy, accompanied by faint scratching. A terrible curiosity took hold of her. She grabbed her phone and crept toward the door. Slowly, cautiously, she knelt down and peeked through the keyhole. At first, all she saw was red, nothing but a deep, pulsing shade of red, like someone had draped a red cloth over the keyhole. A wave of unease crept over her, but she told herself it was nothing. Maybe something was covering the keyhole from the inside. The next morning, she confronted the landlord again. He stared at her, his face pale and drawn. "You looked through the keyhole, didn't you?" he asked. Mia hesitated, then nodded. The landlord exhaled shakily and rubbed his forehead. "There's a reason the rent is cheap," he muttered. "A long time ago, a man murdered his wife in that room. He cut out her eyes." Mia felt sick. The landlord's voice dropped to a whisper. "Ever since then, people say she's still in there, watching." A shiver ran down Mia's spine. She packed her bags and moved out the next day. She never looked back.